I want to start by saying that today is 1 year since I started posting on Facebook. First video was a hummingbird feeding on a honeysuckle out back. I want to say this first. Thank you. And I appreciate that you even take 1 minute out of your day to watch me. It's flattering and very humbling, and I don't expect you to watch ever. I appreciate you watching. I wasn't going to do the video, but I did say yesterday I was gonna. I don't feel as if I'm in my normal Jason personality of speaking, but we'll work through that. As per usual, let's begin. Hello, my name is Jay Vargas, and I am so thankful that you even watch any of these videos with me. I decided today, I also cut my hair, gave myself a shave. As you can see, I did my hair. Even though I'm going on the motorcycle, I have to rinse out the gel. Before I leave, I just want it to look presentable. Alright, let's start with this. Giving a or your child your phone, comma, your piece of addicting technology, comma, to keep your kid quiet so you can enjoy yourself is only destroying that child in the long run. I have already said this one time before in the past, but giving your kid your phone to shut them up, to give yourself peace and quiet, not good. They will never learn to do anything on their own without some sort of technology. Today I'm going to answer, should kids go back to school or not, even though I don't have any myself? Of course I don't. What, do I look like a fool? I'm going to give reasons on why they should, I'm going to give reasons on why they shouldn't, and then I'm going to give you my answer. Let's start with why they should go back to school. Wrong side. Alright, why kids should go back to school. I'll start with that. Without school, they don't learn to socialize. They don't learn how to communicate with someone, how to talk to someone. Staying home, they'll become antisocial. It just doesn't work. They have no structure, kids, if they don't have school. When kids go to school, they have a certain time to be somewhere, to be to class. So it teaches them life skills on how to be on time for something and how to organize their life. Without it, it doesn't work. Parents are not equipped, this is number 3, to teach kids what teachers went to school for years to learn. When your child and everyone else's child goes to school, they all follow a curriculum. They all get taught the same thing in the same way, which is going to lead me into these other ones. I just said this. Each kid will get different teachings and will not learn the same way. Parents will all teach their own individual way. And if they're a lazy parent, they're going to take the easy way and the shortcut ways to do things. Hold on. Thanks, mate. So, kids should go back to school because parents need to work for money. They need to work to put their child in daycare. In a sense, really doesn't make sense to me. You go to work to pay for daycare, you have to make buku dollars to pay for daycare and to have extra money afterwards. All right, we're on number 7. If kids don't go to school, there will be an even bigger education gap between us and the rest of the planet. Say China, for instance. We are so far behind them, it's disgusting. We're kind of dumb compared to them, actually. All right, number 8. Kids will become extremely even more lazy than they already were before the virus because this generation is so bad. In turn, more kids are going to gain weight and become extremely unhealthy. Boy, mate, hit me again. Thanks. All right. This one. I've mentioned this one before. And I was correct last time. I don't know if maybe it's changed. All of the teaching is falling on you, the women, with little or no help from the men. Am I right about that? I find that I'm probably very correct on that one. I told you I get all amped up, but I did bring a side towel this time. Ooh. All right. Now here's one. This is 11. It's tied into a few things here. Here is a massive problem that I foresee happening. Parents get so burnt out from teaching, working, cleaning, pretty much everything a mother does for their child. And they will start to neglect or abuse, mental or physically, their child from the stress, anxiety, depression, and all of the shit feelings that you are probably feeling. I am certain child abuse will be on the rise. Or also, some parents might even commit suicide. Now, that is reasons why kids should go back to school. Reasons why kids shouldn't go back to school. It's intermission time. Give me how to sort me out with my drink. Why do I always feel I have to talk every second on here? Can't I ever just sit and not talk and collect my thoughts? I do all this off the top of my head mostly. Some I do write up, but most of these are just sentences. And then I just branch off of it. Everything I read in my videos, unless I specify otherwise, comes out of my head, my thoughts. I don't copy and I don't plagiarize off of anyone. I don't even watch the damn news because I don't want to watch the horror in the world. The only time I ever see anything news related is if I go under Google and underneath it has like stories, and if one of the first two is interesting, then I'll read it. But it's not like I go and read the news every day. Screw that. Alright, why kids shouldn't go back to school? One obvious reason: there's a virus running amok. Duh. Did we forget about that? That the virus is spreading faster now, and more people don't care now than they did when it first started. It doesn't make sense. That's half backwards. That's half-ass backwards. Number 2, kids shouldn't go back to school because most young kids have no regard for the virus. They think they're invincible. You see it with Miami, with everybody going to party. Alright. Number 3, you know this. Because if a kid touched me now, I would feel like I was melting and I'd have to go wash my hands. Kids are extremely dirty. They don't know cleanliness, but it's not their fault. Alright, here's one. This is number 4. Schools can, and most likely will become, breeding grounds for the virus. It only makes sense, right? Number 5. How the hell are kids? Why they shouldn't go back to school? How the F are kids going to sit in masks for how many hours do kids go to school every day? 7 or 8 hours, I believe. How do you sit that long in a mask? I mean, unless you have recess parts where people go outside and you have intermission where you take your mask off. But, I mean, what are you going to do that? 4 times out of the day, 3 times out of the day for 10 minutes each, and then that's a half hour out of the day. I mean, I guess if you have to do it, you have to do it. I don't know. Number 6. The first school that has a breakout, they will be crucified to no end, and the reputation of that school will be destroyed. It's a fine line. Now, I'm going to give you my answer. I came up with 11 why they should, and I came up with 6 why they shouldn't. But these 6 are very powerful reasons. There's virus. Alright. Take a minute. Not a minute, we don't have a minute. Take a few seconds. Where do you stand? Okay. Makes sense. Either way makes sense. Sending them back to school makes sense. Keeping them home makes sense. My answer, I highly doubt you will have any clue what's going to come out of my mouth next. I said yesterday, the answer in my minute video, the answer I give will be irrefutable. You will not be able to argue this. You just won't. That's what I do. I make it to where you can't argue it. I wrote this down. Let me read this and get it correct. Should kids go back to school or not? My answer is this. You are pretty much fucked if you send them, and you're fucked if you don't. That's my answer. Told you weren't gonna know what the fuck was gonna come out of my mouth. And that's why I watch sometimes myself, because I want to see what's going to come out of my mouth next, actually. I have no clue whether kids should go back to school or not. The fuck am I, the prophet? I don't know. I don't have children. If I had kids, would I send them? Oh, see, that's the question you'd have to ask me right now. If I had an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, would I send them to school knowing how dirty kids are at that age and how they don't know cleanliness? See, my answer was, I didn't ask myself this question until this very moment recording this. If I had a kid, would I send them back to school? But there's a difference between me and other parents is I'd be a good teacher. I wouldn't slack off, because some parents might teach their kids in a cult-like manner. Think about it. You're going to teach your kid exactly what you want them to know. At least when they go to school, they're taught properly. Would I send my kid to school knowing kids are so disgustingly dirty, and I was a germaphobe even before this virus and constantly cleaning my phone? Even before the virus, I had the square alcohol swabs right next to my couch. I clean my phone with alcohol 3 times a day at least. Sides, front, back, and all. I have to. I won't even want to touch it. I'll feel skeeved out. Some parents are going to be shitty teachers. Maybe they should send their kids back to school. If you're a good teacher, if you have the time, maybe you should keep your kid home. Maybe that's the solution. If you're a good teacher and you have the time to teach your kid, maybe you should keep your kid home. But the people that don't know how to teach and are working should send their school. So this way there's not that many people all at school at once. That makes sense. Would I send my kid? Probably not, because kids are dirty. All right, time's up.